Howdy y'all, Dean Stilley here from the official home of unofficial Grateful Dead and music news, reporting on the finale at Folsom Field. They shit the bed the first night, and they come out to clean sheets on Saturday, and they waste no time making up for all that. From the first notes of China Rider, this is a completely different experience getting ready to happen. There was just a evident power behind the music and evident spirit amongst those that were playing it. We know the vibe. We're always bringing the vibe as a fan base. There's never any doubt about that. I mean, some people really are lofting up softballs when they just drop a total musical deuce. You know, people would just sit there and eat it up. But anyway, it's the benefit of the Grateful Dead community. We're always willing to give our favorite musicians the benefit of that. We're going to have a great time no matter what when you're there. That's probably part of it, is when you're right there in the soup, you tend to review your experience, the time you had, and none of this is ever about the time you had. You get that? Sometimes the time you had overrides the quality of what got played. That's incredibly evident as I watch through people's comments and opinions that sometimes people confuse the time they had with the quality of the music that got played. And my the only thing I'm reviewing, unless I'm right there in it, is the quality of the music as it got played. Oftentimes, much difference from the experience you had. So anyway, I love everybody. I don't really want to get too tied up in that. We'll just get on with the music. From the first notes to China Rider, this one's a good one. You could tell right away the band's got energy. They're making up for the stinker they gave you yesterday. China Rider is fantastic, and this is a way to kick off a party when you just get right to opening up the show with the China Rider. The harmonies in the Rider are, I think, my favorite amongst Dead & Company harmonies. Played 3 songs that, to me, really show that when they're harmonizing properly, the harmonies can sound good. The Rider, He's Gone, and Uncle John's. And what do those 3 have in common? No fucking falsetto on John. When he's in his natural voice, the harmonies sound good. When he goes into that falsetto shit, they're just really an accident looking for a place to break out. Anyway, let's not get caught up in that because it was a great night. Shakedown's next. You know, Shakedown's going to keep the party heading in the right direction. The end of that one found some great spots. Oteil thumping that out. I mean, you could tell he was blowing it up all night. Oteil was giving you the full jam band Beyonce. He was doing the metronome. He was marching. The best of everything. When I talked to Oteil the morning after the stage switcheroo, I love his stories about the things he learned from Colonel Bruce. And we were talking a little bit, he was saying that Colonel Bruce told him, you know, that your instrument is basically you're just wearing this piece of wood. And he doesn't want musicians in his band that are just rubbing on this piece of wood, you know, either running their hands up and down a piece of wood. That he wants you to play your life through your instrument. And that's what I saw from Oteil all night long. Oteil was playing his life through his instrument. He was feeling everything that he was a part of, and to me, boy, he really upped the ante on the whole experience. He was having a good time. It was contagious. Everybody was out there to just kill it last night. You get Brown Eyed Women up next. Listen, I know sometimes people bust Mayer for his repeats, but Mayer's a pop star. You know, to him, playing a tour and playing over 100 different songs is probably 3 or 4 times what he's accustomed to. In his view, there's already an assload of tunes that they're playing that are all different, but he'll learn some more over time, I'm sure. But anyway, the Brown Eyed Women was great. That's what we've come to expect from Brown Eyed Women. It was full of power, man. That thing wrapped it up. It kind of released it and let it unwind. We're having a blast. I could feel the energy from my home. Althea was Mayer at his best, if you ask me. He really didn't try to embellish the lyrics. He stayed away from that terrible falsetto note at the end. No pretty head. I mean, he laid back. He honored the song properly. He just let the words of the song tell the story without him trying to decorate it or interfere with it too much. The solos throughout were, I thought, tremendous. That song was really just expanding and contracting around this deep and soulful center that really was just solid, man. That pocket was solid throughout Thea, and the music just kind of expanded and contracted around it. Those jams were out of sight. Where you get Cassidy, always a winner on Bob, and it was no different last night. Saturday night, some people, for some reason, they frown on Saturday night. I don't have a problem with the song. Think it's a fun tune. It's right in the spot where it should be there, closing the first set or opening it maybe. But you know, that was a swing. They were swinging that one. That one was swinging, and then all of a sudden, Weir hops on his scooter. He downshifts and he drives that motherfucker into hyperspace. He kicks it up, and Saturday night he starts going falls. I mean, that was Weir at his very best. There's going to be a party tonight. It already started, and it's only going to get better. You could tell that he meant it when he sang it. I mean, that was good stuff. I got done with the first set. It was already better than the show before it after one set. Energy high, band feeling good. You know, it seems to me like this whole tour has maybe been, I don't know, maybe the ghost of Cherokee has been messing with everybody this tour. There's been a lot of sound problems, a lot of waving, a lot of people wanting the mic to go down a little, a lot of people wanting to go up a little. It just seems like sound problems have plagued this whole tour, and maybe that's Cherokee visiting everybody, letting you know he's around, he's hanging, he's still fucking with everybody. So anyway, what the hell do I know? I'm a total fucking nobody. Let's get on with the second set. You get Scarlet to open. Weir said there's going to be a party tonight. He was damn right. He didn't lie. The first notes of Scarlet, if anything, signal a party. Boy, this is like lighting candles on the cake. The party's getting started here. Scarlet's fantastic. Took me back. I remember the Help Slip Friar in Boston in '91. I thought for sure sometime in the nights that followed they'd do Scarlet Franklin's. It didn't ever happen, but anyway, it jogged my memory to that moment. They get Scarlet and Franklin's. You know, I'm not always a fan of breaking up the classics, but I guess if you got to, Scarlet Franklin's is, I guess, a fine way to do it. The Scarlet Jams were just everything we want from Scarlet Jams. That one was decorated beautifully. Boy, the big hub of energy was spinning, and they were just decorating that thing as it went by. Franklin's always going to have everybody just full of smiles and bouncing all over the place. Right into Fire. This is if you're going to fuck with it, at least we still get the fire. And Oteil great on Fire, having the time of his life, living his life through his instrument. It's all apparent. You get He's Gone. He's Gone. Listen here, an example of a tune that can move slow, but it's so full of content and so rich with texture. The sounds that are all throughout that I mean, that one's just, even from home, I could sense from having been there before, you know, the reverence that filled that stadium. The reverence filled my home. There's something about when the band is really playing, the music's playing through them, that you can just sense the reverence. I mean, regardless of where you're listening from, you can sense the reverence while that song's being played, and that's kind of the moment it was. There was just this sense of powerful reverence throughout and in between the notes and the segments that was just palpable. It was absolutely palpable. John goes for the silver guitar at the end jam of that. I thought they were going to close the second set with Viola Lee is one of his silver songs. To me, that might have even been better if they'd have gone Viola Lee from there, but they didn't. I was wrong. They take it to the other one, which was furious, and the jams on that one throughout. I mean, John really, at his best, everybody at their best going through this thing. I mean, and you know, it all started when Kreutzmann put the fucking lid on backwards. So people hate the hat theory. There's a lot of hat theory haters out there, but backwards hat theory applies like a motherfucker last night. He puts the lid on backwards. When the lid's on backwards, your molecules are going to the dry cleaners. I mean, he sent you out to be refreshed. Boy, that one, hat on backwards theory, strong as a motherfucker. That one was, that's some good stuff right there. When Kreutzmann's lid's on backwards, you're not getting any bullshit going on. You're getting the real deal. Through drums, the band carried all that energy all the way through drums. Guys having a great time back there. O'Teal and Billy Mickey was dancing. You know, he didn't violate the beam in any way that was inappropriate. He was beating the fuck out of it, though. I mean, he went from loving it long time yesterday to just beating the snot out of it today. He was beating that thing up. Really cool, rolling the old piece of steel down that thing, just doing some great stuff. Drums was a lot of fun. Door in Space, Caminti goes full-blown Fabio. He's, you know, he's making sure his hair's just right. He's parting the mane. I mean, not only are we playing fantastic, we're making sure we look pretty. I mean, this is a motherfucker going on. We're taking one in right now. They finished the other one. You know, you get one of my favorites on Weir. You get the Days Between. Everyone might not agree with me on that, but for me, that's one of my favorite Weir ballads. Probably my favorite Garcia ballad on Weir. I think he sings that one outstanding. He don't try to get too, you know, sometimes he's just trying to be too theatrical. He's like Broadway Bob, trying to get all theatrical on shit. You know, thinking if he makes a funny face or, you know, an interesting face, it's going to make the music better, and typically it doesn't. It usually makes it worse, but on the Days Between, he's fantastic. Really spectacular job on that. He's just filled the song with emotion, and really just another piece that, a lot like the He's Gone, you could feel the reverence. I mean, it translated by way of media. You could feel the reverence in the place as that one was delivered in spookingly good fashion. I mean, that was good stuff. And then for people that want to talk about age and all that shit, listen, excuse me, Sugar Mags gets blasted. I mean, they give Sugar Mags everything they got. Doesn't matter if they're in their 70s. Listen, the Stones are old motherfuckers too. Ozzy's an old son of a bitch. They go out there and rock the hell out of it every night. Dead & Company's capable of it too. Stop making excuses for their age. Phil's the oldest motherfucker out of all of them, and he slays it like a motherfucker. So enough with the, oh, 3 guys in their 70s. 3 guys in their 70s still out there killing it. And they kill it on Sugar Mags all the way through. Pace is right where it should be. I mean, they're playing with power. This is one of those nights. The music's playing the band. You got some extremely talented musicians up there that are completely surrendered to the evening, surrendered to the experience, and it's coming right through them. It was evident by all forms of delivery. You could really pick that up. And Sugar Mags, you get the whole enchilada. The Sunshine Daydream rocks everybody into oblivion. They come out for the encore, and you get Uncle John's. I mean, boy, that's not half a sandwich there. That's the whole fucking submarine. I mean, you get Uncle John's for an encore, and you know, they didn't abbreviate it. They gave you the full treatment on that one. They take their bows. I'm sure everybody at this point just as happy as I am about what transpired. And Caminti tried to get, you know, the supplication going there at the end of the Uncle John's, and nobody joined him on that, but he gave it a shot. Anyway, it was a great encore, and then they take their bows, they leave, they come back, and there you get Ripple. So there's not a lot of better ways to end a 24-show tour than with the double encore of Uncle John's and Ripple. This is one of those nights that, you know, I get it the other way around. The people that love to hate this band will hate my fucking review. The people that have no idea how to be analytically challenging towards this band, they'll just be thrilled that, you know, finally they think I said something good. Listen, on this tour, really, it seems like a lot of people focus on my bad reviews. I think there's been 3 or 4 clunkers out of 24 shows. That's a strong ratio. We have had some outstanding music from my favorite musicians on this tour. When I look at shows that I'll revisit in the future, there's a bunch of them. Riverbend was great. A lot of people, I was in Camden, a lot of people loved, you know, the Camden show. The second night, I think, was going to be a good night. They sounded great until we had weather problems, but I'm not saying those are my favorites. A lot of people really like that first night. I think that for me personally, you get Riverbend was outstanding. That's when I think the band really got some hardcore momentum behind them. You got Deer Creek, outstanding. Atlanta, I thought, was spectacular. The first night at Alpine, amazing. The second night at City, good. You know, now that you've gotten the whole Stephen William Tell 11, they've gotten it right a couple times. It was sloppy in New York, but they had a blast going for it, and that made it a lot of fun. You got the first night at Alpine was a killer. You got the Gorge, that was really a great show. To me personally, Eugene wears the crown for the tour. Eugene, undoubtedly, for me, the best night of all of them. Thought that one was fantastic. And, you know, hey, listen, I went to a bunch of shows on this tour, and the ones that I wasn't at, really, the ones I didn't go to make up my favorites. So, you know, sometimes people get caught up in reviewing their experience and what they experience, and what you experience is a lot different oftentimes than how the music gets played. And when it's really good, when they're making magic, it's extremely evident regardless of how you take it in. Eugene, for me, wears the crown of the summer. You got the Dodger Stadium was a great night. Really, I guess tonight's going to go down in history as a really strong, you know, part of the 2018 summer tour. Show number 24 kicked ass. They were playing like they got some high-dollar vacation packages to sell, and that shit's coming right up. They're going to waste no time while that memory's fresh. You know, there's interesting in your neurology. You know, the centers in your mind that process emotions, the emotional centers outnumber logic centers by like 10 to 1. And while everybody is completely caught up in that emotional ride from last night, they're going to blast out the Mexico dates. They're going to make sure that emotion overrides any logic you have about going on that trip, and get everybody booking that one like a motherfucker. We're bringing back the Ascot. We're going back to Mexico. Next on the stop, I'm going to be at Lock-In. My flights are booked. I can't wait to get to Lock-In. You got Brantford going to be there on Sunday night. Listen, this is it for Dead & Company, guys, for this year. So if you want to catch Dead & Company, you better make it to Lock-In. If you can't get to Mexico, you probably aren't going to see Dead & Company until next summer. So I'd get to Lock-In if I were you. I'm going to be there. Wouldn't miss these guys playing with Brantford. I'm already thinking about what that eyes and estimated going to be like there. It's going to be a good time. Lock-In's like Disney World for people, lovers of music. It never ends there, boy. They're relentless about it. I'm almost too old to take it all in, but I'm going to be at Lock-In. And then we got some of the company part of Dead & Company going to be in the New York area for New Year's, so I'm sure I'll see some of you there. We're going to get some fun shows in the New York area. We got some fun stuff getting ready to be announced. This is going to continue to be a good time. Show number 24 was dynamite. J-Rad at Prospect Park will announce the winners of the Total Nobody package. We're going on Thursday to Brooklyn, and we're going to have a ball in Prospect Park. I look forward to seeing a lot of you there. It's been a great tour. I want to thank you all for your support. I want to thank you all for taking the time, who can't stand me, that take the time to let me know about it every time I upload something. I love all of you. Long time. This has been a fun one. Second night of Boulder, boy, they closed the show in style. That show was a motherfucker. For me, Eugene's still wearing the crown. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of shows in the conversation. This was a really strong tour. I look forward to getting more of it into the future. Love you long time. Talk to you soon.